Hello, lawyers and layabouts. My name is TV Sky, and welcome back to The Great Ace Attorney. Which, if you're following the series along as it gets posted, it's been 1 week since you looked at me. No, it's been months. It's been a couple of months. It's been a long time since I recorded the previous episode of the series because, well, things happened. Like Arcane League of Legends series that happened, and then December, Christmas, New Year's, many things happened, and so it's been a good long while since I last recorded any of this, which means I forgot everything that happened. I forgot, like, this is the sort of thing, if this happened to me while playing a game casually, this would be the kind of thing where I would just restart the game from the beginning rather than try and figure out where the hell we were. But as it were, I had to go back, rewatch some of the old episodes, cringe to death at my own voice, because, you know, that's how that goes. Try and remember what voices I gave the characters, remember what's going on in the plot. I think I've got it. Maybe... Hopefully, but if you notice that some of the character voices have changed weirdly for no reason, that'll be why. Anyway, let's get back into it. We have a young street urchin to save from a murder charge. When I awoke the following morning, Sasada-san was already gone. Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets. And so began an even longer day than last, one that I will remember for the rest of my days. "17th of April, 9:32 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Good morning, Gina. I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. So where's your friend, then? Sorry? You know, her in the fancy dress. Sasaro, whatever you said. I don't know. Mr. Sato had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. You alright with that, are you? Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Mr. Sato and I won't meet again one day. Even so, but you, Gina, you only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Okay, don't know who that character is, but they say, good morning, you two. It's Iris. Oh my god, she's got a cat. How are you feeling, Ginny? Did you manage to sleep? Horace, what are you doing here? Apologies, as always, to the entire nation of Britain. Well, you know what? No, actually, no apologies to Britain. No apologies to England. Rest of Britain, sorry for what I'm doing to your language, but no apologies to Britain. Stop being Turf Island. What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? Waggy. Great way to show your support, kitty. Let him have a nose around. What am I gonna do? Oh, that reminds me. I bought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? What do you say, Runo? Ginny? Oh, well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Nah, always take the good news first. You might not lift you the bed. Yes, that question always gives away people's personalities. Let's not go there. Alright then, I'll give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning, and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Huh? The bad news was a weather report? So I hope that Susie made a train to Dover, and the train isn't delayed on the way to the port. Gosh, yes. Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon. So even if the train is delayed, it should be able to make it up at the time later. Well, that is good news, isn't it? I couldn't give a monkey's, really. If only all good news cancelled out the bad. Oh, give a monkey's. What's the rhyming slang for that one? I need to Google that. Sorry, hang on, wait a second. Yes, it's rhyming slang. Is it? Oh, wait, it's not rhyming slang. Oh. Okay. There seem to be really conflicting opinions on the origin. But okay. Oh, okay. All right. Right. Okay, I can't say these in a video because like it's a little that was dirtier than I thought it was. Okay. Moving on.
Look, the trial has made the headlines too. Pawnbroker perishes and picked purse plunder. See?
How'd you like that? Well, let them say what they want. See if I care. I can't because you're covering your face.
Don't worry, Bruno will soon show everyone that this headline is nonsense.
I will?
And then, in tomorrow's papers, the headline will be Discharged Divers Dauntless Do-Gooder. Isn't that right, Bruno?
Oh, yes? Let's hope so.
Of course they will. I have absolute faith in you. How was that? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it?
It's like she was still here. Today's paper has been entered into the court record. Okay, so that's obviously going to be evidence. So something about the rain is going to be important to the trial.
Good luck then, Bruno. I'll do what I can.
Huh?
Obviously, I don't know the law like Susie does, but still. I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement.
I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest, but thank you, Iris. That's very kind of you.
Oh yeah, Iris? Yes, Ginny? Well, I was wondering, it's all about Sholmes. Did you fix him up all right? Yes, the operation was a great success, but Hurley still hasn't come around yet.
Eh?
Oh, that's the friend of mine at Scotland Yard. Just send a telegram as soon as he wakes up.
I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's news.
Oh, right.
No Sasada-san and no Mr. Sholmes. It's all down to me today, to prove that Gina is innocent of this crime.
Miss Gina Lestrade, counsel for the defense, the trial is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom.
It's time then.
Yeah, let's go, Gina. Iris.
Lead the way, Bruno.
Poor Gina. She's trying to put on a brave face, but I can tell she's worried and scared. I have to believe in her from start to finish. That's the weapon that will secure our victory here. If I learned anything from my great friend, it's that. "17th April, 10 a.m., the Old Bailey Courtroom." Oh no, I've forgotten the judge's voice. Oh no, there's so many witnesses. No! Or jurors. "In the name of the Majesty of the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. This trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready." "The defense is ready." "Lord Dunzix." "My lord." "Remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the public prosecution service?" "It was some 5 years ago, my lord." "Yes, and then 2 months ago you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly, and here you are again today. Are there some circumstances of which the court should be aware that have led to this erratic behavior?" "In what one might describe as your former life, 5 years past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerned with the highest echelons of society and government." "Really?" "Yet today you choose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. I confess I find it more than a little befuddling, counsel." "There are 2 types of person I cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind the mask of philanthropy to cheat the public at large."
He means Mr. McGilded, who you defended against the Reaper 2 months ago.
"Yeah, I just about managed to work that out, thank you. Magnus McGilded. If I'd known what a monster he was, I never would have defended him." And secondly, even more loathsome. Those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confidence tricksters from those tiny islands in the Far East, the Nipponese.
What? Did he really just say that?
Yeah, no, hey, remember how he's racist? Yeah.
He means you now, Runo.
I actually managed to work that out too, thank you, Iris.
Total betrayal? What are you talking about? That torrid look of hatred in Van Sieks's eyes. Was that directed solely at me, or was he talking about all Japanese people?
I mean, either way, it's not great, is it? An alarmingly scathing explanation, Lord Van Sieks. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper of the Bailey, feared by all London's malefactors. Your lordship is too kind. Now, jurors, the six of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Oh, that man is not a doctor. There's no way in hell that man is that? Okay. Right, well, we're meeting some old friends here. Are you ready to hear the evidence placed before you and determine the guilt or innocence of the defendant?
Formally attending the British Army, don't you know? No chaps like me were born ready.
Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and a clean conscience. His lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think.
Everything will be stereoscoping in the future. Absolutely everything. And I'm ready for it. I understand it. I can't lift it in here. It's not possible, but could I have?
Women indispensable in society. Stop. Female-centric future awaits. Stop.
Oh no. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
Is something wrong, Runo?
Oh, not exactly. It's just... I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact.
Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, don't they? But it's quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know.
So I've been led to believe, but something tells me I'm being duped. Very well. Now, Lord Van Sieks. The court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case. As you wish, my lord. Allow me to begin with a word of warning to the ladies and the gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. The victim, Mr. Pop Windybank, proprietor of a pawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents this photographic print of the crime scene. As the court will observe, there is a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in near instant death. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory.
And what's that supposed to tell us?
It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone like the accused, you might say. The prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord. Indeed, the court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please. The autopsy report and the picture. Sweet. I now ask the court to turn its attention to this plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. The proprietor was found in his storeroom, where he kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry, a door to the main shop that was found locked. In this sealed chamber, there were only two persons present. the victim, Mr. Windibank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullet.
Well, that's it then, isn't it? Nothing more to say. It's not grubby little girl a pickpocket anyway. She's one of those filthy drabs that live in the slums in the East End. Oh well, we surely made of time before she got blood in her hands then. What are the jurors waiting for? The girl's guilty as hell. We can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt because of what she has to do to survive.
The wine dad is coming out again. My learned Nipponese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. The prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. There were witnesses.
Good gracious!
After their testimony, this girl's true nature will be exposed. Pitiful big purse or cold-hearted killer. Here's to establishing the truth.
Well, the court will take the floor plan and firearm into evidence. Add them to the bailiff, please, Lord Physics.
At once, my lord. Cool. This is probably the time when we go to the court record and check out some things. Right, so the McGilded case is definitely going to come up again. Today's paper. Let's see. What's on the back here?
There's a sensational story lower down the front page as well. Look. Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice.
For a 10-year-old, Iris certainly has her finger on the pulse of the world news.
It's about secret communications between Great Britain and its allies. Apparently, they're being intercepted by hostile nations.
Communications are being intercepted? How would somebody be doing that?
That's the question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 different possible methods so far. Are you looking for a new career, Uno?
No, of course not. I wonder, perhaps this is what Long Strongheart was talking about yesterday.
Yes, it could be, and it could explain why he has Grexy running from pillar to post at the moment.
Good, yes, good. Good to know that detail. Let's see, what else?
Hornbrook perishes in Pickpurse plunder. How awful. For Ginny, I mean.
But tomorrow's headline will be Discharged Diver as Dauntless Do-Gooder, right?
Yes, something like that. If possible, I'd like to go even bigger.
Bigger? How?
Proud pickpocket protects planet post-trial, perhaps.
Protects planet?
Oh, I can't wait for tomorrow now. It's going to be so great.
Iris, bless you. You pure-hearted little thing. Is that Roosevelt? Hang on, I'm reasonably sure that's Roosevelt.
That can't be Roosevelt.
That doesn't fit the timeline. Okay, I don't know. It just kind of looks like him. Like, for some reason, this just kind of looks like him. Anyway, is there anything we could... Article about Mr. Windibank? London News. How about here? How about there? How about anywhere? Yeah. Okay, cool. We have examined the newspaper. Autopsy reports. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. 1 to 30 a.m. Reporting party. Coroner Dr. Stevens. I wonder if that's going to come up. Single bullet wound in upper half of victim's back. No other visible signs of trauma. Right? Instant death from posterior anterior bullet wound to the heart. Bullet into the body from the back on a gently rising diagonal trajectory. As he said. Let's see. Can't examine that any further. Anything in the picture worth talking about? Not immediately. Except that like, there's soot, there's burn marks around the bullet wound, which indicates that he was shot from really, really close. That's gonna come up, I'm sure. Right. Diagram of the crime scene, blah, blah, blah. Where there was a camera system, by the way. Let's see.
This is Mr. Winterbank's gun. The cylinder is completely empty.
Mr. Winterbank always used to keep this gun on hand at the shop counter.
Yes, but only ever with a single bullet loaded, I understand.
That's right, to keep all the pawned articles that were in his care safe.
But his one bullet was fired that night, and the poor man lost his life. Was he protecting his shop, I wonder? Trying to keep the articles safe?
Good question. Let's see. Anything else we can examine about the gun? Since it has a full 3D model, you'd think so. The barrel? Yes, let's look directly into the barrel. Oh, never do that. Never do that with a firearm. Whether it's loaded or not, never, ever, ever do that. Okay, it's the same. So, nothing to examine about the gun. Okay, too bad. At least not yet. Right, moving on. This isn't good.
I feel like the mood in here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden, Reno.
I think that's because it has. That was early. Let us begin. Bring forth the witnesses to the foul murder of Mr. Pop Windybank on 16th April of this year. Curious about who those witnesses are. Okay, right. Oh, Lord. Character design in this series. I love it so much. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
My name's Ned Skulkin. Your occupation is a baddie, professional baddie.
Name's Ringer Skulkin. Occupation's the same as him.
Okay, so you see, so this is like an interesting confluence of character design, because on the one hand we have like the classic double act, like the tall guy who's like lanky and sort of angular, like you can see his entire character design has like more angularity to it, especially his face, and then like the short rounder guy, and they're shaped as a pear and an apple, apples and pears, which is also again this cockney fucking rhyming slang. It means stairs. So like there's all of that like sort of like influence of sort of classic British, like this is what a thief looks like kind of stuff. But then on top of that there is the tanuki, which is a very particularly Japanese design aesthetic, which is they're designed after Japanese raccoons. Which brings in the little eye mask, which again suggests criminality. It's just very good character design. Apples and pears, my god.
To my inspection, Scotland Yard Inspector.
That's right. We what they call the Three Skulking Brothers.
Why you looking at me like that for? Don't look me with you lot.
God blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going through?
So, the Bruvs lost contact with him we have, so we're scouring every shady corner of the capital.
And then last night we come across you, the very spirit of the bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo?
Yes, Nash. The very spirit of him.
So we decided then in the air what we was going to do. We was going to call you Big Bruv Sulky.
Come on, leave it at you, Jake.
Sulky Skulkin? And that's before he's run out of chips.
Well then, Inspector Sulky Rex, huh? Beg your pardon, my lord, but the name's Tobias.
What I would like to know, Inspector, is what you're doing in the witness stand. The Skulking brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft. Thieves, are they, these three?
No, my lord, begging your pardon, but please don't let me in with this lot.
2 nights ago, these 2 brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle. And in the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime.
By Jove, you mean to say, what extraordinary coincidence?
Indeed, my lord. While attempting to burglarize the pawnbrokery, they witnessed its proprietor's murder. Look how short he is.
All that?
The various trespasses of these brothers is not the subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future.
Well, your lordship, mission, I like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on the straight and narrow.
Well, of course, Inspector, skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I'll permit them to take the stand. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question and exactly what you saw.
Happy to.
Because the Skulkin's never skulking.
The animation in this series is so good.
Get it.
The animation in the series is so good. Oh, Lord. Again, like, no apologies to England, but apologies to the British language and like the British accent in general for what I have to do to it during this gameplay. I can't stress this enough.
We was walking down Bank Street in the small hours, the gaff stores, as I say.
It was like some kind of sign. Breaking first to go in it was.
Well, what you got inside? Cool, blimey, lummy, we heard a gunshot from the back room.
We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from inside.
We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We just left there to that nice and quiet.
A terrible coincidence it was in. At the precise moment these miscreants entered the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot. The witness' testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. Is it now? The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside. And within, only the victim and the accused were found. More than one person was shot that night, though. I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witnesses now, of course. Counsel, if you please. Counsel?
Yes.
What's the matter, Runo?
Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair in the stand. I know that it's all nonsense because I saw it with my own eyes. I'll just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is. The front door window banks was ajar, you say? What time of night was this? Or should be about 1? Right, Ringo?
Yeah, I'd say so. Right, Suki? How would I know? The place would have been shut at 1 in the morning, just like every other shop in town.
Well, it's pitch black inside, it's true. Ain't that right, Ringo?
I'm not so sure, Nash. I seem to remember a little light burning inside. What about you, Suki, me old mucker? Leave me alone.
There definitely was a small lamp burning inside. That's what alerted us to the situation in the first place.
And when these gentlemen ventured into the open establishment, the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, already had the muzzle of her gun trained on the unfortunate victim.
Objection. That is pure conjecture.
Oh. Perhaps, but it changes nothing. These brothers inadvertently wandered into the middle of a cold-blooded murder, simply because they found the door of the victim's establishment open and ventured inside.
Right, that's what happened.
Yeah, no.
Hold it. What are you trying to suggest? That you had to go in? Well, God moves in mysterious ways, they say. Down there and go.
They do, Nash, they do. Must have been some sort of providence, I reckon.
God's will often presents itself as a whim of thieves, does it? It weren't no whim. I'm dead sure of that.
It won't, Nash. It won't, like we said at the time.
You don't just find doors open in the middle of the night like that. There's no two ways about it.
It was a sign that our long-lost brother was inside.
They're not very good liars, are they?
Well, you can't deny it. But let us sure bloke what looks like our brother. I said cut it out.
Those chips are getting a chomping today. A gunshot, you say? Just the one. Are you sure about that? Yep, just the one, Governor. I can swear to that.
It was, Nash. It was. Ain't that right, bruv? Firearm use belonged to the victim himself.
Yes, Mr. Winterbeck always used to leave his gun lying on the counter.
Right, I remember.
When we examined it, we found the revolver was completely out of rounds.
That makes sense. Mr. Winterbeck always used to say he only ever kept a single bullet loaded.
That's true. I remember him saying that as well.
So we can say with considerable certainty that only a single round was discharged from the firearm used as the murder weapon.
Yes, my lord, we can.
And I should remind the court that the firearm in question was discovered in the hand of the accused.
Oh. Wonderful. Do you mean the door between the main shop and the storeroom?
If my learned friend is having difficulty grasping the situation, perhaps a drawing would help. Excluding the shop's entrance from the street, there is only one other door, that of the storeroom.
Of course, there was only a little oil lamp burning. Not much to see by.
And the door was even behind the curtain and all.
That's right. When we arrived, the door was mostly obscured by the curtain. Tell me, why exactly did you try to open that door? Any normal petty thief would run at the sound of a gunshot, I should think. Oh, well, you turned to Rabbit Ringo.
Well, that's, yeah. I suppose you'd have to say, wait, normal, eh?
Broadly speaking, humans respond in one of two ways to hearing a gunshot or a scream. The timid flee, gripped by fear, while the courageous investigate to see if they might help. These gentlemen are of the latter inclination. My learned Nipponese friend, it would seem, is of the former.
All right, somehow I just proved that I was a coward that night.
Thank you, counsels. So, I believe you all understand the door was locked and could not be opened. Proceed, witnesses.
You didn't do or take anything. Is that your story? Where was Bedlam Shooners, wasn't it?
It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull my dukes up my Lucy lockets.
So, with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left.
Hey, he caught onto the rhyming slang.
Nice and quietly, you say. That's right, Governor. Nothing we ain't more than violence. Peace-loving nipplers we are. We're not bludgers.
We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled my dukes up my Lucy lockets.
So, you'd clearly like us to believe. Aye? Come again? As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person?
Yeah,
It's a lie. They fired a gun, you said.
Blimey, Governor.
You ain't telling us you was you in the doorway.
It was.
Why, the bleeding Nora.
Didn't you mention that before? You were armed with a gun, and as you fled the scene, you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Sherlock Sholmes.
They shot the great Mr. Sholmes.
I did hear that, actually. It was a rumor he'd been rushed to hospital. The great Sholmes, that's beyond the pale.
On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious countenance rapidly gave them away. Yeah, character design working against them there. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers. Yes, indeed. Remnants of powder around the muzzle, as you say, counsel. The court will hold this weapon as evidence. Good. Now, my learned Nipponese friend.
Yes?
Here is to you successfully presenting the evidence. For yes, there are telltale signs of spent powder on this gun, and a single bullet missing from the cylinder. But the prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial.
Well, I don't need evidence, because I was there.
However, the rest of us in this courtroom, they're not. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast your incompetence and move on.
Evidence that these two fired that gun before they left Windibanks that night.
The court demands that all claims are affirmed with clear proof. What evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm on the pawnbrokers that night? Good question. I mean, I guess that does... Because there's a bullet in the wall, so I guess that would... Thing with Mr. Mason's blood on it. Let's examine the gun for a second.
So, there's ammunition still loaded in 5 of this revolver's 6 cylinders.
Yes, which tells us that only a single shot has been fired from it.
Exactly.
A bullet that hit Hurley, in fact, isn't it?
Yes. It happened almost as soon as we'd walked through Windibank's door.
I'll make those brothers pay.
Let's see, anything else to examine on the gun? Nope, okay. Well, this then is the best I got.
The evidence is in this portfolio.
What? What on earth have you there, counsel?
During the course of our investigations, we discovered a number of bloodstains.
Ugh, not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do. How arrogantly Nipponese of you.
Well, anyway, we analyzed all the blood samples we found recorded the results in this portfolio.
And you claim to have the evidence the court is demanding therein?
Yes, my lord.
No more dallying then, counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves these witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene? We have this. What is that? Explain.
It's a photographic print taken at Windibank's pawnbrokery on the day of the incident.
From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged there.
Yes, as your lordship noticed, the bullet pierced Mr. Windibank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death.
The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight. Well, this indicates that a separate shot had been fired sometime after the calendar had been set to the 16th.
That's right. And while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes this is credible evidence that the witnesses did fire a round from their gun in the pawnbrokers that night. No!
Order! How does the prosecution stand, Lord Van Six? Is he gonna throw it? If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection.
What?
There it is.
What is a man?
But you'll forgive me for flinging my hallowed chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes. Yes, the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And like the bold baddies they claim to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back into the streets.
Take it easy there, Governor. You're going to land us in a soup.
Well, dear, you wasn't going to get us into them details. Tell him, Sulky. Set the bloke straight.
I've nothing yet. So he knew, did he? Van Sieks knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now that I owe my learned Nipponese friend a word of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you've helpfully confirmed an important fact. To what fact do you refer, Lord Van Sieks? As has been established at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brothers' gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and victim. In other words, these two men have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Windybank at all. So that's it.
That's so good. That's so good. Oh my god. Okay, that was amazing. Like, they animated this whole where they just miss everything. Oh, that's so good. And also, as a point of characterization, again, like, the animators, this is something Dan Floyd over on New Frame Plus has an excellent video about the animation in the Phoenix Wright series, which is that the animators, like, mostly the characters are just static, right? Like, as we see, like, mostly they just hold key poses, like big poses that sort of communicate something, or they repeat very simple little idle animations or something like that. But when they do a slightly more complicated piece of animation, there's so much character that goes into that. Like, you can tell, like, just the fact that they do this whole complicated thing and they miss everything, and they don't stop, they don't re-coordinate, they don't like, oh, hang on, wait, I need to get in sync with, they just keep going, and then at the end they like, they do like a double high five, like they did a great job. Like, it tells you so much about who these characters are, how they relate to the world, how they relate to each other, how they go through the world. Like, it's just, as animation work and as character acting goes, like, it's doing so much with so little. That's it. We didn't have nothing to do with it.
We didn't, yes, we didn't. That's what I reckon.
Your crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and let us not forget, attempted murder.
Quite a long eye, fellas. Wait for it now, bruv.
Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It would seem the man patronized the pawnbrokers in question somewhat regularly. Where's he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery.
Eccentric? Says who?
Not me, don't give me that look. Installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop.
Oh. That's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders.
What is that, Counsel? That's the appearance of a photographic contraption. As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed. Oh, the prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device on the night in question. Eight, 8:30. Oh, we need to be able to compare those properly. 9:30. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite desultory fashion. Rather prodigal, I feel. In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer the court to the plane of the premises, their respective positions are here and here. You say these cameras produce a print every half an hour. I'm afraid I fail to say how that would help if the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals. One can only pray that the would-be criminal lingers, my lord. On the night in question, the witnesses who are currently in the stand were not caught on camera. Hey, she be a fried tuck, eh, Bruvs? Friar Tuck, luck.
Lady Lovelace, Skulkin.
Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin?
Hey, must have been just after 1. Right, Bruvs?
Must have been, yes, must have been. Yeah, just gone 1.
In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment. What scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence. Good lord! It's the defendant. Miss Gina Lestrade. Oh, this just keeps getting better. As the court can clearly see. The accused is pictured, gun in hand, facing the victim over the shop counter. No doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom. Quite, one can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photographic print as evidence, if you please, counsel. Oh, goody.
I don't believe it, Junie.
In short, the accused is the only person who could possibly have killed Mr. Wintebank. Yay! Well, this is going well. I say, my lord. Says who?
Wonder if I mind putting a word at this point.
Go ahead, Mr. Foreman.
Jack a Bally bullet you need the Battle of Mewan, 1880, don't you know? Jack Rayford and all that, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Of course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us in the battlefield.
Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point?
Carry on the battle of retirement, you say, battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now, leading this small squadron, 6 men, all good and true. Now we'll all go down together, you mark my words. One for all and all for one.
The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached agreement, have they? Is that what we are to understand? Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct?
Your man is speaking, yes. That's the Garridip squadron's position, sir.
What? No, it's too soon to make a judgment here.
Sash report for the court meant on the double.
His lordship insists on promptitude at all times, and that goes for making decisions too.
I think we'll find the truth is clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it.
I wouldn't have left it in there. I just wouldn't, but in all honesty, I can't actually remember.
Situation clear. Stop. No room for doubt. Stop. Truth there undeniable. Stop.
I am very sorry for brothers. They are unlucky. Very well. I now call upon each member of the jury to state his or her leaning in this matter. Announce your considered verdicts to the court.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
My own voice acting just getting undercut by the game there. Well, that's the end of the stream. That's the end of the game. We lose. Guess I did something wrong. It does indeed appear that the jury is unanimous in his leaning already. That photograph. It must be the definitive evidence that Gregson mentioned.
But Ginny didn't shoot him.
No, of course not. My lord, the defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination. Very well, the court grants permission. Sir, you refuse to admit defeat again. How unsurprising. We shall proceed immediately with the summation examination. Mr. Foreman, are all members of the jury ready?
Yep, absolutely, sir. Always ready for action, my chaps.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you've determined the defendant to be guilty. All right, then.
The evidence clearly points the finger of guilt to this young pickpocket chin.
As a housemaid, I should like to see all filthy art stores promptly and rigorously eliminated.
I think you'll find that if you look at that photograph in the stereo, the truth will just pop out.
If I left it in there, I should think there'd be repercussions by now.
Mind made up. Stop. Global radio transmission of verdict to follow. Stop.
In motherland, we say never judge by plus, judge by hit. I'm convinced brothers are innocent. The little mouse. It's adorable. Oh. Circumstances of the crime and the evidence do indeed implicate the defendant rather comprehensively. The storeroom locked from the inside in which the victim and the accused were discovered alone. And in the accused's hand, the fatal revolver, the firing of which was heard by these witnesses.
Not to mention this print.
Yes, that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Taken from a jab machine action on the battlefield, there are girls on the verge of pulling the bullet trigger.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh dear. Hurley's cameras were supposed to help, not hinder.
I'm afraid that I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you. But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Winterbank. Which means there's more to this situation than we've yet to see.
Agreed.
You have the floor, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. Okay, let's see if we can coax this into a shape that says not guilty. Let's see. Let's press them all just to start with. You're Mr. Natsuma's landlord, Mr. Garadip, aren't you? We really must stop meeting like this.
Yeah, the lawyer chap. Well, he should turn up for the books. Yeah, it's rather dribbling time we've had back then.
Some extraordinary events took place at your house, that's for sure. Luckily, Mr. Sholmes and I were able to get to the bottom of it all. I think we did rather a lot for you, didn't we? I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be suggesting that therefore you should change your leaning to not guilty or anything.
Hey, well, can't be denied, I suppose. The cast of the Garadip house was the talk of the town after that business. Well, I just moved out and I couldn't get a bally soul to take up the tenancies.
Oh.
I haven't had the heart to break the news to Joni yet. Well, bad enough that the old girl's clapped up. Yeah, this can't be denied. You did do rather a lot. But not for us, that's for that's certain.
I suppose not.
Of course, there can be no suggestion of that being the reason I'm leaning towards guilty here, obviously.
Obviously, but honestly, I really wish he'd pay more attention to the trial and less to juror number 2. Polishing the bench, I see. Again.
A mate's work is never done. Not a blemish must remain.
What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores?
On my way to market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pickpursers, and crossmen. The scum of the earth.
Oh, fuck you, lady. Like, honestly. Class traitor. Jesus Christ. Don't be shitty to poor people. Just, if a person has to do, pickpocketing or shoplifting or whatever just to get food to get by, how about just fucking... They're stealing from a corporation who gives just, don't be shitty to poor people, right? People are criminalized for poverty. The condition of being poor sees you criminalized in the eyes of the law. That's shitty enough. Don't. Anyway, that's my point being, that is, that's correctly observed, that the history of Britain, especially the history of the rapidly industrializing Britain of the 1800s, class division has always been a big fucking thing in that God's forsaken hellscape of a nation. But good lord, if not, it was even more dire in the time that this game takes place. The class divide during this time period was stark in a way that, looking back today, you can sort of scarcely believe. And a lot of the stuff that eventually became social Darwinism and scientific racism, a lot of those theories, they were developed also as a means to explain class division, also as a means to justify the class system of Britain. Eugenics, phrenology, all these insane pseudosciences that sort of claimed to be able to determine the character of a person by some physical characteristic, whether it be the bumps in the head, or the way that their face looked, or their skin color, all of that shit. A lot of it was developed in part by the upper classes of the time, especially in Britain, as a means to explain why it's totally natural and science and the law that they have all the money and all of the power, and that all the poor people should stay poor because they are because they are genetically, even they didn't know about genes at the time, but even though that, oh, these people are just by nature endowed with characteristics that makes them naturally thieves and beggars and bad people who are stupid and can't be trusted to rule themselves. Therefore, the ruling class must remain in place. And that was considered science for a long time. Just the shit they said about the Irish back then. It's oh no, yeah, these fucking pseudoscientists, dickheads, nobles with landed gentry bastards, going on. Oh yes, you can clearly see by the skull shape this Irish farmer that is propensity for crime and therefore cannot be trusted to govern himself, and therefore Britain's colonization of Ireland must persist for the good of the Irish people. Like that shit. And exactly the same rhetoric that was employed to justify imperial lordship over India, imperial lordship in Africa, imperial lordship over any place where they could just sort of say, oh, well, these people are just naturally inferior to us, and therefore it is good, actually, that we own their countries and steal all their shit, because we will do responsible, sensible things with it, like make ourselves richer and do inbreeding, and they would do terrible things with it, like not starve to death, and we can't have that. So yeah. Class politics are a big deal. And it is expressed, the game isn't... Well, no, it is about that. This case is about that. Ginny is getting judged immediately just on being poor. And if you contrast that with the first case that we prosecute in Britain, where it's Magnus McGill, oh, the rich man, how much fucking slack Magnus McGilded just gets for being rich. Oh, he spent his money building a park one time, so I guess he can't be all bad. That is there. That theme is definitely in there, and it's part of sort of the thesis the game has in comparing and contrasting 19th century, early 19th century Britain and Japanese societies. Although I would note that the class structure and class divides of Imperial Japan were, if anything, as bad or worse than the British ones. They were just backed by a different kind of imperial. That's maybe a little bit too far. Let's move on to the next bit of testimony. But no, yeah, like fuck you for saying that, juror number 2.
A little harsh, perhaps. Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those back slums would be made spick and span or eradicate.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, she's just straight up eugenist. Okay. No, that's, yeah. Okay. She's just a social Darwinist. Just, like, kill the poor is apparently her considered position. Fair enough. Jesus Christ, lady. Like, you're a maid servant. Could you have some class? These people have your interests at heart much more than whatever shitty lord you serve. Are you insane? Fucking British middle class, I swear to God.
At least we have people like the great detective working to achieve these important goals.
You're referring to Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
That's right. I like to keep abreast of his exploits by reading Rant's magazine in between my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital.
Mr. Sholmes? A maid? Oh, don't put that into the universe. Someone's gonna draw fan art of it.
It's really quite unforgivable. Gutter scum having the audacity to shoot our very greatest detective.
Fuck you.
Minor detail, it was the two brothers in the stand who shot Mr. Sholmes, not the defendant. A minor detail indeed. They're all gutter scum as far as I'm concerned.
And that right there, like that mindset, that, oh yeah, the poor, they're all the same. Again, something you can very easily relate to racist attitudes, obviously, but that mindset right there, that like this kind of people, like we sort people into these boxes. Like here's one kind of person, here's another kind of person, here's this kind of person. Then we rank them on a hierarchy and say these ones are better than that ones, those ones and those ones are better than those ones, and those ones are the shitty ones, and we can just eliminate all of them. Just kill every single one. That's fine because they're all exactly the same. They are, as it were, fungible. It's a classic it's a classic feature, obviously, of like class-based bigotry, but it's also a classic feature in like modern religious extremism. Whether that's like Christian or Islamic extremism, the thing that you often see in cases of like propaganda put out by groups around terrorist attacks is the fungibility of their targets. Like the individual stands in for the whole and the individual can be punished interchangeably because to the mind of the bigot, they're the same thing. Like the individual and the whole, in fact, they're all the same. It's like, so that's what you get this thing of like, oh, this country that I hate did a bad thing, well, therefore I am going to bomb a music festival or something, or I'm gonna take a gun and I'm gonna go open fire at a concert, like they did, like we've seen so many fucking times in the US, for example. Like, it's that mindset where you see people as things rather than human beings. And it comes in part, like, this is part of the history of that. Like, this is... Yeah, it's all deeply interconnected, and I'm sort of... It is surprisingly dark for an Ace Attorney game to sort of bring that theme into it. Like, I don't know how serious they're being about it, but boy, howdy.
Well, it just might be an idea to get our facts straight. Anyway. Yes, all right. I shall amend my statement.
Let's just press it again.
I agree with you. The shooting of Mr. Sholmes was an unforgivable act.
I don't. Like, you shouldn't... Don't do death penalty. Anyway,
but the purpose of this trial is to determine who shot the pawnbroker, Mr. Winterbank. I'm afraid you're splitting hairs, sir.
sorry?
Whether it was the thieves or the pick purse, it was still gutter trash that shot the pawnbroker in the end.
Again,
filth that should be cleaned up and eradicated, in my considered opinion.
you're a fucking fascist, lady. Again, fungibility. Like, one or the other, who cares? Doesn't matter. Like, go to some place where poor people live and just shoot one, and justice will have been served because they're all the same. Like, that's the mindset. Which, again, is the sort of mindset that like, leads these fucking ultra right-wing psychopaths in the US to go out and, like, I'm just gonna shoot a bunch of women because I'm upset that girls won't fuck me, and all women are the same, therefore, if I just go kill random women somewhere, that is the same as punishing those girls that won't fuck me, right? And as we saw, like, with the shooting in the US, where, like, some fucking piece of shit went to, like, I think it was a laundromat that was run by Asian American people and started murdering them in retaliation. Was it in retaliation for COVID or something, or was it an immigration thing? Like, whatever it was, it's all this thing of, like, fungibility. Like, take notice of that when you deal with these people, and when they speak as though people are fungible, as though people are things. Like, that is the red flag that tells you that you're dealing with someone who is, like, who's in that bigoted mindset.
Thanks so much for sharing. Changing this maid's mind isn't going to be easy. Bruno, it was one of those two brothers that shot Hurley, wasn't it?
Yes, without question.
Well then, I'll never forgive them.
Oh, Iris.
Perhaps we can use this maid's statement to help us somehow, do you think?
Yes, maybe. Let's listen carefully to which each juror has to say first.
What do you mean, look at the photograph in stereo?
Sorry, what?
Don't you know? If you look at the photographic print normally, it looks as though the pickpocket girl is about to shoot the victim, obviously.
Objection.
But there's no indication that the defendant ever fired the gun. All I'm saying is if you look at the same print in stereo, it could reveal all sorts of new information.
By any chance, are you a fan of stereoscopes?
Oh, how did you know?
Let's call it a lucky guess.
It never gets old seeing two prints merge into one before your eyes. It's extraordinary. It's captivating. It's the height of modernity.
Of course.
Oh yes, I think you'll find that the stereoscope is here to stay, giving us new perspectives we could only dream of before. It's the greatest invention the world has ever seen.
Hey, you know how a few years ago all the cinemas were trying to make 3D movies a thing? Yeah, funny that.
If only I could give me a new perspective on this case, I might agree with you.
Who is this doctor? Who was he operating on, and what did he leave in someone?
What exactly have you been muttering about all this time, sir? You keep talking about having left something somewhere or something like that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. As you can probably tell, I'm a surgeon.
A surgeon? That totally passed me by.
Of course, people conducting surgery in this country aren't considered to be doctors, I know.
Oh shit, right, that's true. Here's a fun little historical fact. Surgeons for a very long time were not considered doctors. In fact, if you needed surgery for something, you would go see your barber. Barber surgeons, basically. For a very, very long time, like, barbers were people who also performed surgery on people. It was not considered a medical discipline. Doctors really looked down on it. Again, it had a class element where doctors were usually like people of the upper middle classes who were like very heavily educated in the classics, blah blah blah, university, etc. And barber surgeons were just like people who knew how to use knives on bodies. And so there was a lot of snobbery from doctors that, oh, surgery, like the poor man's medicine, surgery. Like, how could that ever possibly be useful to anyone? And so, yeah, like, it is a relatively recent invention in medical history that surgeons should also be trained doctors. So yeah, and also it's worth pointing out that a lot of people didn't used to survive surgery because we didn't have antiseptics, and people didn't know that you were supposed to wash your hands before you poke your fingers into someone's open wound. Anyway.
Of course, people conducting surgery in this country aren't considered to be doctors. Oh no. Even though me Americano, the forefront of medical science, the real brains of the field.
So, what is it you think you've left behind?
Well, it's a little embarrassing, to be honest. You see, I was operating on someone yesterday. The same thing went in through the abdomen. But when I finished the procedure, I couldn't find my scalpel anywhere.
What? Did he? Surely not.
Exactly. Surely not, you say to yourself, don't you? It's worrying, isn't it? That's what's been troubling me this whole time. Could I really have left my scalpel inside the fellow's belly? No, of course I couldn't. So, there you have it. It's, like I said, a little embarrassing, really.
That's one way of putting it. The other is manslaughter.
That's exactly my concern, and seeing as this case appears to be all but shown up, well, I need to focus on trying to remember exactly what I've shown up elsewhere. I'm sure I made everything I was back as it should be. Well, as sure as you can be without being sure.
I'm sure you need to be more sure.
Hold it!
Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean? Are you from the Far East? Stop. Yes, from the Empire of Japan. All communication with Far Eastern nations used to take place by mail. Royal Mail steamers take more than a month to complete the journey. But now we have the electric telegram, so we can send messages using electrical signals. Thousands of miles of cable has been laid along the ocean beds, connecting the entire world.
Not yet. In the 1880s, 1890s. Not yet. 1860s. But it was getting there, I believe. Like, it wasn't until... Right? Like, it wasn't until the 1910s, 20s that you had anything like a global network. I might be wrong about that. Someone who knows more about that could leave me down in the comments to correct me.
Thousands of miles of cable on the ocean bed? Makes my head hurt just thinking about it. You're well informed, young lady. But cables will soon become a thing of the past. Stop. And just when I was starting to catch up. Radio transmission is the future. Stop. Messages carried over airwaves to four corners of the globe. Stop.
When was Marconi? It was... Because he was born 1874. Yeah, like, you wouldn't have had... Ooh. They wouldn't have had radio at that point, because, like, the first radio transmission ever was, like, in, like, 1900. I don't think they studied... Yeah, like, electromagnetic radiation... That was, like, the 1870s. Like, that was when they discovered electromagnetic radiation. So that's... Okay, you're very ahead of your time, lady.
Excitement growing. Stop. Atmosphere electric. Stop. Right. Try not to wear out your fingers. Era of wireless telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. And people say inventions like the stereoscope are the height of technology. What other utter piffle? I can't understand it. I really can't. They're just silly toys.
Excuse me.
Juror number 3? Sorry to interrupt with that you're obviously fuming, but, What? Do you perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess.
Oh, you bet I do. Say that again. Go on. I dare you.
Goodness, are you talking to me? I think it just might be yes.
You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you? Huh?
Absolutely. I mean, really. A machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions. Why on earth would you not just use your eyes to look at the world around you? It's all 3-dimensional.
What a great way to appease the man.
No, I'm sorry. Stereoscopes are of no practical use at all.
You just don't know.
Pardon?
I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities. I'm obviously going to have to demonstrate.
What sorts of possibilities?
Well, take a crime scene, for example. If you had a pair of photographs from a crime scene that you could view through a stereoscope, it could reveal hidden clues you never even noticed before. What?
Have you got any, Runo? Any prints we could look at with a stereoscope?
Yup. How about this print here? Should do the trick, I think.
Take that!
All right then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then, I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all. I don't know which one to give him. It's the only one we have, so sure. Wait, sorry? What do you mean, one more print? Oh, dear. Did you have these in the Far East? Did you know how a stereoscope works?
Runo,
What?
you need 2 photographs for a stereoscope, remember? You know, one for the left eye and one for the right.
Oh, yes, I remember now. But the print we have from the pawnbrokery is just a normal photograph. No. I think you'll find the clue is in the name. It's a stereoscope, not a monoscope. You always need 2 prints. Thanks for the friendly explanation.
Well, if we obtain another print at some point later in the trial, we can always show it to this young man then.
I think you'll find that know-it-all expression is really starting to annoy me. Let's get things back on track, shall we, Cancel? All we need is another shot from a slightly different location and we can see the scene in 3 dimensions. Well, we could probably get a hold of that, couldn't we? Can it really show up new clues, though? No, let you try! No, I don't. Fuck, okay. Brought that on myself. So that's just gonna repeat. Let's just speed through that. Fair enough. Fine. Go away. Yeah. I know. I need a skip option. Ah, damn it. Fuck off. Okay, we gotta change, and so now we can submit photographs. Please tell me you're not villain Bolshevik, the Russian revolutionary.
Revolutionary?
I believe there is such a rumor.
It's just a rumor.
As you see, of unfortunate appearance. I look like vicious criminal.
Your words, not mine. I just want to point that out.
People call me revolutionary, mother, autocrat.
And which gloves fits?
Good day. I'm visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take boss to Crystal Tower, please.
Right, that didn't sound staged at all. You'll forgive me for having my doubts.
To be treated like vicious criminal all the time, it is very painful. People do not realize. So I have much sympathies for these brothers. People say they are criminals only because of how they look.
The Skulkin brothers?
Duh, maybe they went inside pawnbroker's shop. But they have done nothing wrong. That is all I want to say.
The Skulkin brothers did nothing wrong that night? Alright, well, first of all, that's one not-so-little misunderstanding I'll need to clear up straight away. Tell me something, Iris.
What is it, Runo?
The jurors are chosen at random from the inhabitants of London town, aren't they?
Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? In that case,
Oh, sorry. In that case, how is it that there's a Russian tourist sitting among them who looks for all the world like a revolutionary?
I wish I knew.
If I can't change the minds of more than half of these 6 jurors, the trial will be over.
But we know that Gina would never shoot anyone.
Yeah, so we need to find contradictions in the evidence. Blah, blah, blah. That's just them sort of repeating the instruction. So let's
Objection.
pit the maid against the revolutionary. Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good lord, counsel, explain yourself.
Oh my statement, contradictory.
Juror number 6, you've got the wrong end of the stick.
I do not have stick. I have mouse.
It's an adorable mouse.
As juror number 2 said earlier, when the Skulkin brothers fled the scene on the night in question, they fired a shot from their revolver.
Yes, they shot poor Mr. Sholmes in the abdomen, I understand.
Surely you're not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear.
Abdomen, ABD.
Sir?
Sorry, my English is still learning.
You are telling the court you didn't hear.
Forgive me, I did not hear. No, here is word. Abdomen, part of the person's body containing stomach and other vital organs. If this is what you mean, you should say in plain English. I am Russian, not native speaker.
Who thought it was a good idea to let this man be on a jury again?
So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals for lying? They said before we never done nothing, but truth is they shot detective. Da, this is double negative.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Lying is wrong, especially when lie is said by person who looks like criminal.
No, it's wrong no matter how they...
Please don't squeeze the little guy.
Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced.
This means when they said we never took nothing, maybe it was also big fat lie. Is this true?
Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so...
Enough! I trust no one now.
It's not the mouse's fault, though, sir.
I must see with own eyes. I must investigate crime scene myself.
I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Yes, it is, Bruno. Easily.
Sorry?
With the prints from Hurley's red-handed recorder.
Ah,
If you compare the print that pictures Ginny and the next print from half an hour later, you'll be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not. Okay, Mr. Prosecutor.
That calling on the prosecution in the middle of a summation examination of all times. The print showing the accused threatening the victim after she broke into the shop is this one. Following this, the victim and the accused moved into the storeroom. Meanwhile, the Skulkin brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the fatal gunshot ring out. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is the print produced by the camera half an hour later after the brothers' flight.
so... what's different? I know I'll have plenty of opportunity to compare them, but... it's damn difficult to do it like this. Let's see. We have the skull, the doll, picture of the dog, quill, book. Okay, I need to see them side by side.
So this was taken after Hurley was shot then, as far as I can tell. Nothing has been taken.
That does seem to be the case. I can't notice anything that's obviously missing in the second print.
So, the brothers who look like criminals only told one lie. They shot a man, but they stole nothing.
It would seem so, yes.
Good.
No, not good.
You were right. I did not understood the situation. Now I know about no brothers have lied. I think it's very important to continue with trial.
Oh, hey.
Hey, well done, Runo. The balance is shifting.
Well, it's a start, I suppose. But there must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose the truth. And if I can do that, we just might turn the situation to our favor still. Thank you, Counsel. Continue with the summation examination. And kindly hand that new photographic print to the bailiffs to be filed as evidence. Thank you. Another print in the court record. I wonder if we can make use of that. Yes. We very well can. Let's see. The page on the thing is not different. Is that the note that's missing? No. Hang on. No, no. Oh, it's the lamp. There we go. Lamp. The difference is the lamp. It's the lamp is broken in the second picture. So that's a difference. That's something. Okay, but we need to go over to the enthusiastic guy. And speed through.
Take that! Take that!
All right, these two prints were both taken with the same camera and window bangs on the night in question.
Took me an embarrassingly long time to realize the lamp was broken.
Yeah, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer, do you know how stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle? Well, I think so. I did have a lesson only yesterday. The left and right eye images need to be the same, only with a slight shift in the positions of some objects. Then, when your brain merges the two images together, inside your head it notices the shift as if it were depth. Yeah, exactly. It's that small shift between certain objects in the two pictures that's really important. So, what happens if you use the two photographs that are exactly the same then? No, obviously that wouldn't work at all, if we're seeing the scene three-dimensionally anyway. Oh, of course, now I see. I think the young lady has discovered the secret. I have. Cross-eyed. Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me? Have another look at these two pictures from Hurley's camera, Runo. Go on.
That's better. Right, so the lamp is broken. What else is there? No change in the curtain, no change in the background, no change in the skull, the doll, the candlesticks, the picture of the dog, the notes, the book is the same. Is it really only the lamp?
Can you see the really obvious difference between them? Of course there is. There are two people in the first and no people in the second. Well, yes, you can see that straight away. But now, try looking at the pictures in 3 dimensions. All right, I'll give it a go. So, to start with, you have to cross your eyes and then try to make the pictures overlap exactly.
I'm doing it right now, you can't see, but... boy, do I look silly. The problem with that is that it also forces your eyes to unfocus. Oh, this hurts my brain. Ow, 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 my eyes. God. Ugh. Whew.
Let's see if by crossing my eyes I can make the quill pens from each picture overlap in the middle. Wait. Please just show it as a visual effect. Oh god, my eyes. That hurts.
Well, did you manage to see it properly, Runo?
Yeah, I saw it. What's going on with these two pictures? Some of the things on the counter sort of jump out at you. Yeah. That's it, you see. That's the other amazing power of stereoscopes. Other amazing power?
Oh, is someone going to explain this black magic, eh? Why the deuce do some of the things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that?
I think you'll find out if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope. You'll answer your own question.
Basic principles of the stereoscope.
Yeah, as I said before, if you try to look at two identical pictures using the stereoscope, it won't work at all. It's the slight shift in the positions of certain objects that lets you see pictures three-dimensionally. In other words, even though at first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, this shows that actually there must have been a slight shift in their positions. Yeah, I mean, This is very gimmicky. I mean, I guess. Oh god. Oh, fucking hell. I think you're supposed to be able to, like, hold your Switch, like, directly up to your eyeballs to do this. I'm looking at this on, like a bigger screen, and, like, I kind of can't get the 3D effect. Ugh, fucking hell. Oh, God, that hurts my eyes, man. God damn it.
Yes, there must have been.
Fire this, sir. Got reason to rest with this old cross-eyed business now, I'd say. Why the devil does this shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on, you're the cross-eyed master.
What? Me? I haven't the first idea.
You know, Runo, it's quite simple.
It is?
Just think it through step by step. The first photograph was taken at 1 a.m. Then, 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken, but the position of some items on the counter appeared to have shifted slightly in the interim. So that means...
That means that sometime in the half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with the things on the counter. Someone tampered?
New information. Stop. Not mentioned in testimony so far. Stop.
Yeah, we've had to go around in circles a little here, it seems. But I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in this summation examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question now is clear. We know the items on the countertop were moved, but by whom?
Are you suggesting you might know?
Of course. I can tell you right now who's responsible for the almost imperceptible shift in the items on the counter. So there's definitely something to Nash and Ringo as names, like there's some sort of pun. I don't know what they are exactly, but... It was the witnesses currently in the stand, the Skulkin brothers.
What? This does not agree with what brother said in testimony before. They said they did not even have time to pull dukes from Lucy Lockets. My phrase book says dukes is meaning hands, and Lucy Lockets is meaning pockets. But is this another lie? Is this what you are saying?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Now, hold on, you can't be sure of it.
I quite agree. The accused is a common pick purse after all. It's perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal.
I think that's unlikely.
Why exactly?
As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was coercing Mr. Winterbank to open the storeroom door. In other words, Miss Lestrade's interest lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony. But the accused is a pick purse. Come and gutter trash. Why look any further for wrongdoer here?
Because the Skulkin brothers are thieves, madam. No better, in fact, worse than a pick purse. Don't enable her. Don't play into it. Just fucking stop being an asshole to people who are poor. Okay. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, would it not at least be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by two thieves?
Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from that shady pair.
The headbutt. That was amazing.
Can you all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings. You've seen their extraordinary potential firsthand.
Wholeheartedly agree. Stop. Must purchase after trial. Stop. Will return home via Regent Street. Stop.
I really like her design. I like how long she is. Like her face, her body shape, like everything about her is just like designed to be really long and kind of skinny. It's nice.
Well, it will seem this trial is yet to run its course. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations via the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call the summation examination to conclusion, with the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus. And I order this trial to continue.
Yay, well done. Oh, by the way,
What?
you should hold on to this, Bruno. You never know when it might come in useful.
Twice in one trial would be unusual, surely. But all right. The stereoscope has been rendered into the court record. Cool.
Lord Van it will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them.
I'm sure it won't spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord. I've won myself another chance to probe that pair about their activities that night at least. And I won't stop probing them. Please stop saying probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. To be continued. And that shakes out to about 2 hours as usual, which is nice. Save your current progress? Yes, I do believe so. And that is a good place to cut an episode, I think. So if you've enjoyed hanging out in the world of the Great Ace Attorney with me, you can hit the like, comment, and or subscribe buttons down below. That'll let you know when more of it is coming out. I'm going to be recording more. I really want to see how this ends. Even if, good lord, I forgot how taxing this is on ye olde voice acting muscles, of which I have relatively few to begin with. But yeah, I have a Patreon, a merchandise store, and a tip jar, and if you want to see things on this channel early before they get posted to the general public, you can become a member of the channel as well, which is like early access stuff. It all helps me pay my rent. So if you want me to help me do that, you can do that, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to wear a mask and wash your hands. Try to make the world better for other people and have solidarity with those who are worse off than yourself.